I don't want to let these little stories pass because BP is in the headlines, although I know Tiger Woods, Nike, and Al Gore are happy. You saw that, right? That he's got this porn star saying that he's got a 9-year-old child, and they put the two pictures up together, and the baby looks just like him. And he's teeing off. Consider the source, but all of them have been like that. Consider the source. He's teeing off at the U.S. Open Day, so he's probably like, ooh, keep on spilling. I tell you what, he's probably happy. So this police officer sending sexy text messages to his girlfriend with his company paid pager. He got busted, and then he's going to try to sue and say, you violated my constitutional rights. He has a reasonable expectation of privacy using a government paid pager or cell phone. He got busted sending text to his girlfriend, and now somehow he thinks that he was violated constitutionally. Well, in a unanimous vote, the Supreme Court says that no, the California Police Department did not violate his constitutional rights. I want to know how you can sue when you are using your work vehicle, your work computer, your work pager phone to be doing the nasty, to be doing wrong, and then you get caught and you say, well, that was private. It's not private. And before you defend him, he works for the government. We're paying for that cell phone. I mean, come on. You're not going to woo me with the sexy music. You're not wooing me with the sexy music. He ought to be in trouble. That's just how it is. Oh, I got a girl on the line. She'll agree with me. I'm pretty sure of it. Is that sexist for me to say that? It is a little bit. Welcome to the sensual Jeff Ward Show, Melanie. You're on KLBJ.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, how are you?
Fine. How are you today?
Sorry about that sexist comment there, that because you're a woman, you were going to agree with me.
That's
I don't know. That's kind of presumptuous.
I'm so tired of people being politically correct all the time. It just irritates me.
Well, you're in the right place, I think.
Oh, good. Listen, what I wanted to comment on is my husband is a petroleum engineer, and he and I met offshore, actually. So I know a lot about what goes on out there. And I think people don't really understand that Transocean, who are the people who own the rig, now they were employed by BP to drill this well, but they're, half of this should be on their head too. At any rate, who cares who's responsible? What happened?
We just want it fixed. We just want it fixed. We just want the skimmers out there. We want them to be proactive. The week after this happened, in May when this happened, BP came and said, this Dutch company said, let's put these skimmers out there, let's burn it off. But Obama was too afraid that people would see this fire in the ocean. Oh, no, that's not going to work. Well, guess what they're doing 50 days later?
I wondered why they weren't doing it. But really and truly, BP is just another oil company. And trust me, who wants to blow up $1 million rig? Nobody.
Nobody wants to blow. And nobody wants, why would they? It's not in their best interest to see all this oil go down the tubes. They'd rather have the profit.
And thank God, American companies producing American oil for American people. That's the way it should be. And if they think that $20 billion or whatever, first of all, they'll even know what it's going to be.
They're like a couple drunks with a bottle of whiskey. That'll be gone next week.
Tell you what, I'm ready to reach through the radio and slap you upside the head.
Jeff Ward on News Radio 590 KLBJ.
You're listening to KLBJ. I'm Lisa Fritsch. You're listening to Jeff Ward Show. I'm sitting in for him today. Join us at 836-0590. Toll free is 877-590-KLBJ. We are talking about BP getting the big shakedown of $20 billion from the president. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll figure out the rest later. What you do is just, we're going to criminally investigate you. You cut us a check for the 20B. We'll figure out the rest later. Does that sound all right? That ought to work. That ought to get the American people off my back for a minute. Thank you for waiting, Frank. You're on KLBJ.
Yeah, Lisa, listen, I think you and Mr. Barton are just right on. It should get in the process. It should get in the legal system. That way, the court system and all the lawyers can make a living off of it for the next 20 years or so. And in the end, the victims get pennies.
Or let victims file a class action lawsuit and are you being sarcastic? Because I think that what you're saying makes more sense than the president saying he's just going to take $20 billion and there's no structure for where the money's going to go, how it's going to be spent, to who it's going to go to. This is basically what is it? They're petty cash? Come on, Frank, that's not right. That's not right.
If that goes, he just divvies it up among the states. It goes through the IRS. So the IRS has everybody records. They know what they make. End of story.
Just like, and then like Hurricane Katrina, all these fraudulent claims. This is just, I disagree
well, not if
with
it goes. If it goes to the IRS, if it goes to the IRS, they have everybody's earnings.
And the IRS can be trusted. They never cheat people.
Well, that's what Feinberg is for. Feinberg is to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, when you're dealing with hundreds of thousands of people, it's not going to be easy.
Hundreds of thousands? You think that's all who are going to come out of the woodwork to file a claim? It's going to be a free for all. I'm in line to get my money. Who has it? Obama. Whose money is it? It's Obama's money. We all remember that. Where did he get it from? I don't know, but he's giving it to me. 836-0590, toll free is 877-590-KLBJ. Y'all saw that video yesterday of the lady in Seattle. Did you see that? The woman got arrested for jaywalking or some odd thing. And then the cop goes to arrest her. She starts to fight back. Her friend jumps in and he punches the woman in the face. I know it was all over the news yesterday, and they're wondering, so he's been on desk duty. Why wasn't he fired? It's never okay for a man to punch the woman in the face. I think the charges against the woman for jaywalking, first of all, dropped. The dumb officer fired. Now, I did read that he didn't have tasers because I'm watching the video and thinking, why didn't he just let her go and tase her? But it got completely out of hand. And the latest is that they made some kind of mistake in the courthouse. And so she was allowed to go and leave the courthouse and not have to have a hearing. But the woman he was arresting is not even the woman he hit in the face. Shouldn't a police officer have better training about how to deal with two women than to be, and she's resisting arrest, that's wrong. But he does not, the woman didn't hit him, by the way. People were saying, oh, well, she hit him first. She pushed him. He punched her in the face. He reared back, y'all, went on his back foot and then lunged forward to hit this woman in the face. The scene was completely ugly. And the deeper picture is, all I see is a man with a gun in a uniform hitting a young lady in the face. There is never an excuse for a man to hit a woman. I don't care if he pushed her. Doesn't he have pepper spray? Why didn't he pepper spray the women? But he's physically trying to restrain them with a punch in the face. That is very ugly. You don't expect stuff like that to happen in Seattle. I thought everybody's cool there. These women didn't look particularly violent to me. They weren't they kind of looked around the way, but they didn't look beat up and, they didn't look too bad. That sounds mean, doesn't it? But I'm just saying, they weren't clubbing him. They didn't look rough. It looked like he was trying to arrest her for jaywalking. You punch somebody in the face. Should you being stopped for jaywalking mean that somebody's going to end up getting punched in the face? That's one of those instances where I've heard, Jeff will say, you really shoot somebody for coming in the convenience store and taking a cracker. You know what I mean? It's just, shouldn't a cop be able to use some kind of judgment so that situations for jaywalking, not a robbery, not a drug bust, not a high-speed chase, doesn't end with somebody getting punched in the face? I'm just saying. 836-0590, toll free 877-590-KLBJ. Neil, good afternoon. You're welcome to the Jeff Ward Show.
Hey, Lisa, thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Well, actually, I wanted to talk to you about, just real quick, I think it's funny that we have to incorporate the Supreme Court into a ruling on a cell phone.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's a little interesting to me. Let's leave the unpaid cell bills and the damaged property claims to Judge Judy. How's that?
And also, you would think people have enough sense that if you're using a work phone, you don't do stuff that doesn't involve work. I mean, sure, you're going to call people personally, but if you're using it to do something dirty, like if you're sexting, common sense should just tell you you don't do something like that on a work phone.
Yep, there you go. And real quick, you mentioned earlier in the program, be careful. When we're talking about attacking or blaming BP, British Petroleum for this, for this pipe bursting out there in the Gulf. What do you mean by that? Do say nothing, say a little,
no,
say
I'm just
a lot.
saying,
be careful you don't say something, bring them down because we don't depend on Britain that much.
No,
really.
we don't. But I'm saying to anybody out there who wants to own a business, who is a capitalist, be careful that you're attacking BP and saying, oh, yeah, they should pay, because all of us are vulnerable. If this government can decide that that a company or a corporation is at fault when some kind of disaster or something unanticipated like this happens, and you have to basically go bankrupt to appease the U.S. government, then they're setting a very dangerous precedent for all of us.